In this video, I'm going to show you how to install and set up WhisperAI, which is a pretty cool model that allows you to transcribe audio files. And then you can take those audio files and turn them into subtitles and, for example, create something like this.
In a thrilling testament to human resilience, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore's extraordinary journey through the cosmos.
So that's pretty cool. What we are going to do here is we are going to create a share where we can store these models. Then we are going to install the Docker. And then finally, I'm going to give you some examples of how to use the API. So here we are on my Unraid server. The very first thing I'm going to do is to create a share. I'm just going to call this AI because I'm using this share for all my AI stuff. And also, therefore, I will export this share so I can access it on my Windows computer. So what I've done is on this AI folder on my computer, I created a subfolder called Whisper, and this is where I will store the AI models. Next step is to install the Unraid container, and this is the one, WhisperAI web service. This is the one we're going to install. On Unraid, go to apps, search for Whisper, and you can find it here. The settings for this Docker are fairly simple. If you just want to do basic translation, you don't really have to change anything except the model storage path here, which you're going to set to the one you just created, the share you just created. And maybe also, depending on your setup, you might want to change this extra parameter. I don't remember if this is set by default, but if you have an NVIDIA GPU, you might want to set this -- GPUs all, like it says here. But if you want to do the cool stuff I showed you before, where you want to get timestamps for every single word, you want to change the model. And the model I'm using is called Distill Medium EN. And the engine, you also want to change that to faster_whisper. So to do that, you simply just want to put this in these two fields. If you go to, let me see, the Hugging Face Whisper on GitHub, you can see the other models here that you can use. You can also use WhisperX. I have not tested that out yet, but you can also use those models. But here you can see the models you can use. I'm using this one here. This is an English model only, so this cannot do translation. If you want to do translation as well, you might want to select one of the other ones. But you basically just want to put whatever it says here, you want to put that in under the model. And then this Docker will automatically download that model. But you also want to change the engine as well. That's important. Anyways, click apply. And once the Docker has installed, it will start downloading the models. This will take a little bit of time. They are not super large. They are typically less than 1 gigabyte. If you want to follow along, you can always go down here, open up the logs, and you can see the progress of the download. When everything has downloaded, we can move on to actually using the API. So if you go to the web UI, you'll see something like this. And what we can do here is we can basically test that everything is working. So you can click here on try it out and upload a file. So I have this short clip here, and then click execute. And this will give you an output where everything has been transcribed. Now, if you want to do the thing where you, for example, highlight the spoken word or something like that, you want to go and change the word timestamps and set that to true. And you also want to change the output. I'm going to use JSON for now and execute again. And as you will see in just a second, this will change the output. It becomes much longer, right? And what is happening here is that every single word will now have a start and an end. And this is what allows us to do all those cool effects. The final thing I want to say about this, two things actually. The first thing is that the request URL here, this is where you call the API. And a quick note about that is, first of all, this is based on whatever you set up here. So just be aware of that. You can see timestamp is set to true, output is set to JSON, just like we did before. So if you change anything up here, hit execute, it will also change the request URL. And also, if you need to access this from outside of your own network, you will need to set up a proxy URL. And I have another video on how to do that, so I'm not going to go over that in this video. Finally, for more information about the API, you can go to the GitHub page here, and there is a link for the complete documentation, which you will find here. And yeah, that's everything you can do with the API. So here I am in NHN. This is also installed on my server, so this makes it super easy for everything to speak to each other. But I'm just going to show you how to utilize this in automation. So we are just going to create a really quick automation here. The first thing I want to do is I want to read the audio file. So I have that on my on a drive here. So I'm just going to paste that in, and it downloads the file here. Next thing is we want to do an HTTP request, and this will be a post. And this is where this URL comes in handy. So I can just copy this URL and put it in here. Obviously, I can take all of these parameters, like for example, word timestamps, and I could put them down here instead. Word timestamps equals true. And that way I can change it using variables instead if I want to do that. But for this, let's just keep it simple and keep everything up here. The other thing we need to send the body. That should be form data, and it should be a binary file, and the name should be audio file, and the data in this case is just data. If we test this, we should get a transcription back, and here we go. So that's an API call. Then we can take this and we can do all kinds of cool things with it. So for example, we could do a code block here, and not a code block, but a code element. And then I have a script which will take this and turn it into an ASS subtitle file. So if we do that and download this, this is what we get. So this is a subtitle file. It has the fonts, the sizing, everything. And what it does is it takes each word here and then highlights it, in this case with the color yellow, for the duration that it's spoken in the audio, right? So in a trilling testament to human, etc., etc., etc. So this is what then we can take this subtitle file and we can put it in our editing program. We can send it to FFmpeg, and then we can create these videos like the one I showed you in the beginning. But that's basically it. That's how you set up and use Whisper on your server. So I hope this video was easy to follow. I hope it was clear, and if nothing else, I hope to see you in the near future in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.